Russia's war on Ukraine, the Trump administration's concessions to Russia. Our panel is back with us now. And when you look at this, Brad, entering a negotiation, Trump has already said Ukraine's going to have to give up territory. It will not be a member of NATO. And he's also saying he wants to welcome Russia back into G7. Of course, it was kicked out because of the invasion. Help me understand why, with allies, Trump begins with maximalist positions. You think of Canada, 51st state, Denmark, I'm going to take Greenland, Panama, I'm going to take over the canal. But on this, he makes concessions prior to the negotiation. Is that strong? Is that strength?
Well, the question that was asked was, should Ukraine return to its pre-2014 borders? And that's when Russia invaded Crimea and took it from Ukraine, and Barack Obama did absolutely nothing to stop him. And so I think that's the original sin in this situation in Ukraine. And both President Biden and President Trump have struggled to put the genie back in the bottle for Obama's failure to stop Russia from taking over Ukraine. I hope he takes a hard line with Russia.
Trump is president now who's saying he's willing to allow Russia to keep territory that it invaded, which would be the first time, we should note, since World War II, that a leader, a country, would be allowed to take territory and keep it by force.
No, Jim, that's false. Barack Obama let Russia keep Crimea after they invaded Crimea. He did nothing to stop it. That's just a false assertion.
I've written a lot about that, and he did not recognize the annexation. That's the point. That's the difference.
He did nothing to stop him. He did nothing to stop him.
Fair criticism.
He said he couldn't do it because of Russian identity there.
I understand you're not willing to criticize anything President Trump will say, but let me ask you, Jaime, is there a way forward here between the U.S. and Europe, let's set aside Ukraine for a moment, where they maintain this alliance as we've known it for the last several decades? Are we seeing a fundamental change in that relationship?
Jim, I don't think anyone knows. I think that's part of the problem with President Trump. I think there's a bunch of chaos. I think Vice President Vance has said one thing, the Secretary of Defense has said another thing, and President Trump has said something else. And so I think most people, not just Americans, people around the world, just want to understand what the heck the president wants to do. And so, look, I think things are going to be fundamentally different. I think the president has been very clear that he not only wants to reshape the American government, he wants to reshape the international politics. And so I think we have to be clear about that. President Trump is trying to reshape international politics. So this is not about just doing something for the sake of doing it. He's doing it intentionally, and I think we've got to be clear about that.
Alex, you know that Ukraine used to be a bipartisan issue. You still have a bipartisan group going to the Munich Security Conference. But I wonder, do Republicans on the Hill you speak with say that they will stand up against a deal that they would perceive as against Ukraine's interests or against Europe's interests? Or are the politics of the town such that, listen, it's largely a done deal?
There are definitely some Republicans, including Mitch McConnell, which you talked to earlier, and then others, I think, that would speak out. I mean, you saw Senator Wicker of Mississippi just speak out over at the Munich conference, saying that Defense Secretary Pete Katz has made a rookie mistake. I think that there are some interests. That being said, even the ones that are supportive of Ukraine recognize that the politics that Trump tapped into of America first, sending money over to Ukraine, are unsustainable.
Yeah, and there you go. On the politics point, he may have his finger on the pulse. Gentlemen, thanks so much to all of you for sticking around so long this morning.
Jim.
And thanks to all of you as well for watching this morning. I hope you have a good weekend. I hope you have a good Valentine's Day.